Hello everyone. This is a little tip that you might try to do this test in this video as a pre-purchasing test. Many of you might be considering buying a pair of the new Apple Airpods, which is the new wireless little earphone that Apple has. And one of the big concerns seems to be, because of their small size and light weight, is how easily or not the AirPods might fall out of your ears and you end up losing one, because it's kind of an expensive proposition to buy another one. And I think a lot of that is based upon, again, their small size and lightweight. But this is a little test we tried, and this might be a good thing for you to try also, to see how well the new AirPods stay or do not stay in your ears. Not everybody's ear is alike. We're all different. But I think the vast majority of people will probably be surprised at how well these new AirPods do stay in their ears. So this is a test that we did, and this is our results. Okay, this is an older pair of EarPods or earbuds from Apple, the kind with the old 3.5 millimeter plug on the end. These earbuds, or this part of the earbud, they're supposed to be pretty much identical to the new Apple AirPods, minus the cable. But the biggest problem with these older earbuds or earpods, and it's the same problem I had, is the cable. The cable is the problem. It adds weight. They can get caught on things, and the weight tends to pull them down. And yeah, these routinely would come out of my ears fairly often. So what I decided to do was to kind of make an approximate pair of AirPods out of these older earpods or earbuds with the cable. So what I did, and I had an extra pair laying around, and I wasn't wearing either one anymore, I simply cut the cable kind of near the base here of the pod part of the earbuds. I simply cut the cable. Then I placed them in my ears, just like you would the new Apple AirPods. And of course, now they don't have the weight of the cable on here. And I decided to try these things out, modified the way they are to approximate an Apple AirPod, to see if they would continue to fall out of my ears easily. And I was quite surprised that these modified earbuds were very hard to get loose from my ears. And I tried everything imaginable. I tried shaking my head to the point where I got dizzy. I went out running with these in my ear, and I had them in my ears for almost an entire day, and they never once fell out of my ears. And at least with my ears, I think I would have to really, really work to get these things to come out. So that led me to believe that with this simple little test, and something you should or could do at home, I feel pretty confident that the new AirPods, which are essentially like these and without a cable, will not have a problem staying in my ears. I think they'll stay in there. And I, again, had them in my ear for pretty much a full day, just doing the normal things that I normally do and not going around violently shaking my head or some of the other crazy things. And there was never a problem with them staying in my ears. So I felt confident that, yeah, these will stay in my ears, or at least the new AirPods will stay in my ears. Now, most people are saying, and even Apple says, that the new AirPods are essentially identical in size to the pod part of the older EarPods. Of course, the EarPods without a cable. Some mention the stem being slightly thicker, maybe a little bit longer, but essentially the same. However, I did notice that the weight with Apple specifications on the individual AirPods was 4 grams. So each AirPod weighed 4 grams. So we're going to see what these weigh. And again, these are the modified earbuds. Okay, as you can see, 3 grams and 3 grams again. So they weigh slightly less than the new AirPods, and that might tend to help them stay in your ears even better. And if they're slightly larger, some people have said they thought they were slightly larger. I haven't seen any specifications, so I don't know. So anyway, the most Apple stores apparently, even though they may not have any AirPods in stock, but they usually, from the 3 or 4 that I contacted, most Apple stores do have a couple of demonstrator AirPods in the store. So you could actually go in the store and try a pair of AirPods in your ears and see how they fit. But if you could possibly, especially if you have an old pair of EarPods with the cable, you don't mind sacrificing, you might try this test, because you'll be able to spend a lot more time, maybe 3 or 4 days, doing your normal routine and see how well these modified EarPods or earbuds stay in your ear. And if they stay in your ear as good as they have mine, I certainly wouldn't have any reservations that an actual pair of AirPods would stay in your ear just as well, if not maybe slightly better. So this is a simple test you could do at home before you purchase, or maybe in the process of considering purchasing some new Apple AirPods. This would be a good test to see how well they may stay in your ears, or maybe not. Anyway, thanks for watching.